Welcome to the From My Stand podcast with Matt Hinkle. Whether you are an avid hunter, a novice, or someone interested in the sport, Matt has a unique perspective to share. Sit back, relax, and kick your boots up as Matt shares what he's seeing from his stand.
Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us today. I'm your host, Matt Hinkle, and it's good to be with you today. Well, we are only about 6 weeks away from the start of whitetail deer archery season in my home state. And wherever you're from in the country, it's getting really, really close. Opening days are going to start hitting in about 6 to 7 weeks all over the country. And so, what we're going to be talking about today is an essential gear checklist, a preseason essential gear checklist. Now, a couple things about this checklist today. Number one, we're going to do an early season checklist. I'm not going to go through all of my gear that I'll be getting out mid-season and even late season when the weather gets colder. I just kind of want to show you what my preseason checklist looks like for the early season. So you could basically call this my September and October gear. All right. The November, December, January stuff, that comes later. Maybe we'll do a video on that a little bit later on. Also, this video is not going to include the bow, the arrows and release, and the gun and the ammunition. Okay. Those things are also essential gear, obviously, for archery season or gun season. But 2 weeks ago, we had a video on getting your bow ready and kind of a checklist on getting your bow ready. And actually, next week, we're going to be doing a video on getting your firearms for the upcoming hunting season ready. So this video is only going to cover early season stuff, and it's not going to cover the bow, gun, arrow, ammunition, all of that kind of stuff. But what does the early season preseason checklist look like? Well, let's just kind of go through it for just a minute. Let me start with the stuff that's on the table. First of all, you want to have a good hunting knife. Now, I've got a lot of different knives. This one is my favorite. Now, I've had this knife for a long time. It is a Browning. It's a folding lock blade, and it has about a 3.5 inch blade that's really good. It's kind of got a gentle curve, so it's good for field dressing. It's good for skinning. It also has a gut hook, and it also has a serrated edge as well. So anything you really need to do in the field, this knife can do. Now, this knife originally came in a nylon sheath. I have worn the nylon sheath out. The nylon sheath is gone. So I just got one of these. This is a case cutlery leather sheath, and I just keep this knife in that sheath. So that's my hunting knife. You're going to definitely want a good hunting knife. Next is your optics. In bow season, you definitely want to have a good pair of binoculars. Now, I've got two kinds here that are really what I most of the time use. I would call these Redfields my earliest season binoculars. These are 8 by 32. They are really, really good for early season when you can't see very far in the woods. I mean, the Vortex I've got here, these are 10 power, and they're just a little bit too strong for a standing woods situation with leaves on the trees and everything. So I like these Redfields. They're lightweight, they're waterproof, they're durable, and they're very, very clear. So these are 8 by 32, and I mostly use these in the early season, particularly early bow season, and they're good for squirrel hunting also. And then the Vortex, these are 10 by 50, and they're in the glass pack. And I'm not going to unpack all that, but I've got a glass pack with like a shoulder harness and 10 by 50 pair of binoculars. Okay. And I start using those a little bit later in the season. All right. Next, let's talk about footwear. I got a lot of different kinds of hunting boots, but early in the season, I like these. Um, they're basically high rubber bottom boots. They're they're warm enough, but there is a little bit of insulation in them, but they're not hot for the early season. They do real well with scent. They're comfortable. They're easy to climb tree stands with. And so these are made by Irish Setter. I also have a pair of leathers I don't have them featured in this video, but they are Rocky elk stalkers and they're pretty good for early season too. And they're all leather, but I like these. They handle the scent a little bit better than the all leather boots. So these are pretty good ones. But if I'm doing a lot of walking, I'm going to use the Rockies. Okay, but for tree stand hunting, that's pretty good. Let's talk about clothing for just a minute. During hunting season, I keep this Adidas bag packed at all times. This bag stays packed at all times. Now it changes throughout hunting season what I have in it. This is basically set up right now for early season. So let's talk about what we've got in here. I do have a base layer, Under Armour, uppers and bottoms and uppers. Um, I may or may not wear them depending on what the temperature is like. But in October you can get some chilly mornings or some chilly evenings, and so I use them sometimes. But you always want to have a base layer within arm's reach because you just never know when you're going to need it. Then I have just really light camo. Um, I've got a light pair of camo pants. They got a lot of green in them, so they kind of fit the woods for the early season. Then I've got a matching shirt, and it's just really, really lightweight, and it matches those pants. And then there's a really lightweight jacket. I bought this all as a system. It is a guide series system, and again, a really lightweight jacket. It matches the pants, it matches the shirt, and so I really like those. And then I've got a lightweight ball cap, and it's guide series. It matches. It's all one system. So that's a pretty good setup for early season. Now it's not what I'm going to wear come December when the snow starts flying and it starts getting cold, but it's really, really good for mid to late September on into October. Then you want to make sure you got some rain gear. I use Frog Tog rain gear stuff. And so there's a rain gear system crammed into this little bag. And so I make sure that I have it with me also. And then in one of the ends of this duffel bag, I've got a lightweight. Now, again, as the season wears on and we get later in the season, I'm going to put heavier stuff in here, but I got a real lightweight pair of gloves that I wear early in bow season. And then if I need it or if I want it, a face mask. Now, I do believe as a bow hunter for whitetail deer, you need to cover your face with something. A nice lightweight face mask like this works pretty good early in the season. I tend to use face paint, and I've got some of that in my pack. I'll show you in just a minute. But sometimes I wear a face mask. Normally I paint my face, but I do recommend having something to cover your face because your face will just stick out against the side of that tree, and I think they can see you if you don't have something covering your face. All right, so that's my duffel bag with my early season clothes. Now, I might throw a few more little odds and ends in it, but that's what I really need for early in the season. All right, what else do we got here? Okay, let's look at this little tiny backpack. This little backpack, I only use it for one thing, and that's trail cameras, batteries for the trail cameras, and SD cards. And I actually put a camera out today, but I've got another camera in there, and I like these Browning trail cams. This is a Browning. They're really good. Now, these are not cell cams. I still go out and pull cards. This is an SD card trail cam, but uh, this little backpack, um, I keep trail cams, batteries, and then in this little part up front, I keep SD cards in cases. So that's what you do there. I really think the key to a successful hunting season is an organized hunting season. it's really a pain when you can't find the stuff you need quickly. And sometimes, you know, I'll hunt very much at the spur of the moment, and having this arranged the way I've got it arranged is very helpful because you can just kind of at the spur of the moment head out to the woods, and you don't have to tear your house apart or your basement apart or your garage apart looking for stuff. All right, this is an old backpack that I don't use very much anymore, but I mean, it's still in good shape. I used it for years. I carried this thing in the woods forever, but I don't really carry it anymore. What I put in this backpack is things that I want on the hunt, but I'm not necessarily going to take them in the woods with me. I want them at the truck. I want them at camp, but I'm not necessarily going to take it out into the field with me. And so I got a few things in here that I keep. First of all, I keep my scent control in this backpack. This is a scent formula, a scent elimination formula that you kind of shake it up and put it in a spray bottle and spray your clothes, spray your boots, spray your skin even down with it. I've got some extra cutlery. This is a deer breakdown pack kit. It's got a bone saw, a field dressing knife, a caping knife, and a boning knife. It's got a little sharpener thing there. So these are kind of nice to have in case you got to break your deer down out in the field. So I keep that in there. I keep a bag of sharpening utensils. So I got honing oil, stones, diamonds, just all kinds of files, different things I keep in here so that out in the field I can keep my knives and saws sharp because you need that when you are hunting. And then this box here is an emergency box. It's a safety box. I'm not going to go through every single thing, but number one, it's dry. It floats in water. It's got a seal around it that makes it waterproof. It's got a compass on it. It also has a reflective tape on it so that if you really are lost and you need to signal a helicopter or an airplane that's flying overhead, you can signal them with this. This is an emergency box. You hope you don't ever have to use it, but I make sure I've always got one with me. And it has a lot of stuff in it. I've got a screwdriver. I've got a map, scale compass, a couple packs of batteries, some zip ties, um, my hunter safety education stuff, a bunch of band-aids, gauze, a reflective mirror, again, in case you need to signal help from above. There is some alcohol pads, a thermometer, and a compass, Benadryl, and then this is an emergency blanket. Um, it's a big blanket that folds up into a small, very very small. I guess I did go through the whole box and show you everything. I said I wasn't going to, but uh, those blankets, believe it or not, they attract sunlight and they can keep you warm if you are in an absolute emergency and you got to keep yourself warm. So I just keep little things like that in this little box. Hopefully, I can get it closed. Maybe I shouldn't have got into that. And let's see. Oh, yeah, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. We got it. All right, so an emergency kit, sharpening stuff, extra cutlery, and scent control. And then just anything else I think of. I'll throw them in this bag or my duffel bag. But I like to have a bag with some stuff in it that I'm not necessarily going to take out to the tree stand with me, but you still might need it. Okay, this is the pack that's going with me to the tree stand. And this is a new pack for me. It's a Mystery Ranch Treehouse 20. And when I was in New York last year, I hunted really big woods up in the Adirondack Mountains with a good friend of mine, Jamie Frazier. He's a guide up there. And him and a bunch of his hunters had these Mystery Ranch packs, and I really liked them. So I've got one this year. And this is not really a multi-day. It's kind of a single day. It's really a tree stand setup. So here's how I've got it laid out. First of all, you can see that I got my rattling antlers. Now, honestly, first few weeks of the season, I probably won't carry these out, but because I don't really start rattling until the rut kicks in. But this does have these. This does have straps that you can hold your rattling antlers in, or you can strap a tree stand to the back of this, or you can strap your bow even. I tested this thing the other day and it will strap a bow, but I'm going to unhook these straps and I'm going to go ahead and take the rattling antlers off. Now, I always tie my rattling antlers together with just some uh, little cord like that, like parachute cord or whatever. And then I tie them about shoulder length apart. And then what I'll do is I've got some other rattling antlers there hanging on the fireplace, but I'll hang them on a branch or a hook, usually off to my, let's see, I'm doing that wrong. I would hang it off to my right. In my trees, I hang my rattling antlers off to my right. I have my bow off to my left up in the actual tree. But um, if you tie this cord too short, and if you could just imagine this thing being too short, when you hang it over the branch or the hook, they clang together in the wind like a wind chime. And you don't want that. You don't want to make a noise until you want to make a noise. So you want them to be quiet until then. You want to be real careful with antlers in the woods too. You don't want to make unintentional sounds with them because that can just draw attention to your location. All right, let's see what we got in here. Um, I I travel pretty light. Now this Mystery Ranch backpack, it's got two um, fasteners right there, and then it opens this direction. It actually opens the opposite that most rain flies on a backpack like this would open, and they do that so that you can strap. If you want to, you can actually strap this to the tree. It's got a strap that hooks here, and it goes around the tree. And so if this opened that way, the tree would be in the way. So they've designed this to open that way in case you want to hang it on the tree. I say kudos to Mystery Ranch. It's a little bit of a better mousetrap. So whoever designed that, that's a pretty smart design. I kind of like that. But what I've got in here, let's just start at in the mouth of it and work our way down. Okay. So in this little zipper, I've got some sharpening implements. I've got a sharpening stone right there, and I've got some sharpening files there. So I've basically got, and then there's room. I could put more stuff in there also. Over on this side, I keep my hunting license. So I got my hunting license and a pen or a pencil in there because you got to have something to fill your tag out in the field. You're supposed to fill your tag out immediately when you get to your game. Okay, I don't have anything in that pouch. Good. It's always nice to have open pouches that you don't have anything. All right, here's where I keep my face paint. So I got a couple different styles of face paint. These are tubes or sticks. They're like little lipstick sticks or squeeze tubes. And I keep them in a Ziploc bag or that little face paint makeup set. But I've used all of those. I got a wind indicator, wind detector in there. What this does is, oh, my wife's going to kill me. Don't tell her I did this. But when you open it like that and give it a little squeeze, I don't know if the camera will pick this up or not, but see that little bit of chalk flying in the air? You can watch that chalk and see which way the wind's blowing. So those are pretty handy. Of course, I'm a nut about knowing which way the wind's blowing. If you don't know which way the wind's blowing, don't hunt yet. You got to figure that out before you get out there. Okay, I keep about 30 feet of cord. You can see that I have it wonderfully organized in there and beautifully wrapped. But I try to keep about, uh, I don't know, about 130% of rope I need for the height of my tree stand. So basically, what I'm saying is if my stand is 20 feet off the ground, I try to have 30, 35 feet of rope. So I have plenty of rope to haul things up. You don't want to climb a tree stand with things in your hands. That's a sure way to fall and get hurt. Speaking of falling and getting hurt, I got my safety belt. in there, and never get in a tree stand without a safety belt. No deer is worth your life. No deer is worth your personal safety. So make sure when you're in that tree stand, you are tied off at all times. Okay, so I keep that in that pack. All right, let's see what we got here. Over here, I've got a headlamp. I may not pull every single thing out, but there's a headlamp there. Over on this side, I got a couple of different blades. You want to carry a little pruning saw like that because you may have to trim some branches so that you can see a little bit better, cut you some shooting lanes, or just get some branches out of your way. I've also got a multi-tool. I'm not going to get everything out there because I can feel it down in there, but I got a multi-tool and another little folding handsaw that is it's pretty handy. Over here, got kind of an old school compass. And nowadays you got a compass on your phone, but just in case my battery dies or my compass app goes out, my grandpa gave me this compass years ago, and it's really, really cool. It's kind of an old army style compass, so I keep that in there. And then over on this side, I've got a grunt tube that comes out pretty easy. Little grunt tube. Okay. That one's made by Hunter Specialty, I think. Nothing fancy. It's just a basic little grunt tube. If it's really peak rut and I think I'm going to use that, I'm going to get it out when I get to my stand and probably hang it somewhere near my antlers. And then I carry a good flashlight. Like I showed you earlier, I've got a headlamp over here and then a really good bright flashlight. This thing's not real big. It's not real heavy, but it is very bright because if you've ever tried to track a deer in the dark, or I try not to use a light in the woods, but when you need one, you need one, and don't skimp out on your flashlight. You're going to want a good heavy duty flashlight that's going to give you the light that you need in the woods. You'll be glad you got it if you ever need it. All right, guys. Well, the key to a successful hunting season is an organized hunting season. So right now in mid-August, I would encourage you to get all your stuff together, get it organized, go through your pre-season checklist. If I missed something, leave me a comment and let me know what I missed. But I think I got pretty much the basics down. Next week, we are going to talk about getting your firearms ready for the season. And so we're going to specifically feature the 350 Legend because I hunt in a shotgun only state. And just a few years ago, they legalized straight wall rifle cartridges. So in our house, we love the 350 Legend. I'm going to feature that in next week's episode. Also, the Sunday before bow season starts. And so this is probably about 5 weeks away. I will get you the date in our next episode, but we're going to do a live chat 1 week before hunting season opens. I'm going to be sitting by a fire. We're going to do a live chat, and we're just going to talk. If you have any questions about the upcoming hunting season, or if you just want to tell us what your plans are, it's just going to kind of be an open line that night, an open chat, and we're all going to get pumped up for the upcoming hunting season. All right. Well, I hope this has been helpful. I hope you're getting ready. I hope you're having a great summer and getting ready for an even better fall. And thanks for joining us today. If this channel is bringing any kind of value to you at all, would you give us a like, follow, and subscribe? Also, turn on your notifications. It will let us do so much more with this channel. We would really appreciate it if you would do that for us. Well, thanks for joining us today. I'm your host, Matt Hinkle, and that's how I see it from my stand.
Thank you for listening today. Be sure to tell your buddies and follow us on your favorite podcasting platforms. Y'all take care.